ongoing relationship with these organizations. But they have a unique set of resources and a willingness to work with each other to make those resources available generally in the community, and they did that on their very own immediately afterwards, and have engaged since that time with the youth and the parents that are most affected deeply by this tragedy, particularly in the southwest part of our city. One of the things we're learning from the counselors and others that are working in the community is that this will take some time. This will take a long time. These are significant events. They are the grief, the loss, the anger, the frustration. We've heard a lot of comments through a variety of sources, and there will certainly be a number of suggestions that come out in the conversations this evening, I'm confident. There have been many meetings. I've sat through some of these meetings as well, and I've learned a great deal about the concerns of the community. And there are a few things. We're going to continue working with the organizations that are greatly involved in youth, because one of the focuses of the programs the city does have is really dealing and paying attention to programs that can help us assist what are often at-risk youth, and it's been pointed out many times, any youth can be at risk, but we have a lot of active engagement with the school districts that are serving in our community, and one of the things we're looking into is developing a new grant program that would be offered through the schools to deal with particular programs to help kids stay in school and to deal with whatever kinds of challenges and conditions might exist that may prevent kids from continuing on to school. And so that program is being developed right now. It may take many forms, but it will be a grant program through some of our existing resources. We'll also be looking at other kinds of after-school programs supporting counseling activities and things like that. And this is going to be a long haul. One of the advices that we've received is really that we do need to be more sensitive to the pain that is really felt by members of our community, and we certainly take that to heart. I think some of the things that the city is involved in, has been involved in for some time, address some of the issues that we're hearing about the inclusion of the community, particularly in our southwest area. And while some of these actions that the city is involved in are not necessarily a direct result of this particular tragic event, they have been ongoing, but they do address some of the continuing needs expressed by the community. And that is certainly for the work that's gone in to prepare for the ultimate annexation of Roseland. As the council is well aware, but I'd like to explain to the community, back in May of 2013, the council, when they were reviewing their goals for the coming year, expressed to our staff that the proceeding now with the Roseland annexation was a real top priority. And so it may sound like a simple action, but it has its complexities, and we're talking about a community building effort. And so there are a lot of parts to that. There is a legal process to it, but there's a lot of community building types of activities. And so the whole plan for that has been well underway. We've had more than 20 people on our staff working on various elements of that over the last 6 months. And in February on the 11th, we'll be coming before the City Council with a laid out work program. And the program will take some time, but we want to engage and invite members of the community. We will have neighborhood advisory because we want to have that conversation ongoing and explain the process as we're going. There are complexities in that neighborhood. There's going to be a lot of decision about investment and going forward, which will also take some time. But there is, from my experience, briefly now with the council, there's huge commitment, and I think the community really needs to know that. This is a community that has been developed over the last 50 years. It certainly is a neighborhood, and there's a strong feeling of a neighborhood that identifies with Santa Rosa and yet is not officially part of Santa Rosa as a city. And so we're very interested in helping make that happen. And it will take a community effort to make that happen. The other thing, we have a number of parks. We have 2 community parks underway in that area, and one in particular that has money for the Bayard Farm and Gardens. And there's already been great community involvement in that, and that will continue on forward. So we're excited to see that go forward. The other thing is, the mayor early on met with the county chairman of the board and specifically asked that the city be included in the task force that is addressing local law enforcement issues and review. And so the mayor was able to appoint 2 persons from the community to serve on that on behalf of the city and be represented there. And so that group, the task force had their first meeting last evening, and it really was a bit of an organizing and a listening meeting. And so the business of the task force hasn't actually started. They will be, I believe their next meeting is in a couple of weeks. So we'll be hearing more on that. We'll get information out so that the council is aware. There will be minutes kept of those meetings, and so that will be available for everyone to see. And so there's a lot of information. The county has put out a number of information, some of which is of interest to the city. Some of the things we'll be working together with the county on. Some of them are very specific to county business that we probably won't have a lot of interaction with. I'm not going to get into all of that. I know that maybe things of interest to talk about at a later time, but I'd like to just conclude and turn that back to the mayor at this point to continue on with the meeting.
Okay. 22 cards here, so pleasure, Councilman. At this point, I'd just like to call people up. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. And I'm going to call your name, and I'll call the name of the next person following so you can queue up so it'll help things move a little faster. So with that, the first name I have is, and I would ask that everybody be quiet so we can hear what people are saying. The first name I have is Ana Salgado. Okay, and she'll be followed by Elaine Holtz.
Who you said?
Ana Salgado.
And the next one?
Elaine Holtz. Elaine. Ms. Holtz, why don't you go first? City Court of Law, just put it down there, she'll help you. Just place it down there.
I'm just kidding. These are my new grandchildren. I love them. I love working. I tell you, I used to work in neighborhood youth corps. I love working with youth. I'll tell you, give them jobs, give them money, and you don't have any problems. Anyway, my name is Elaine Holtz. I'm a homeowner, 40-year resident of Sonoma County. There's not been a day that has gone by that I not have thought about the killing of Andy Lopez. Why? Because I'm a grandmother and a mother. I have 1 child and 2 grandchildren. I met the mother of Andy Lopez, and when I looked into her eyes, I could see the pain, and I cried for her loss. I told her that as a mother and a grandmother and an elder of 74 years old, I will stand with her, and I will find other mothers and other women who will all stand with her. Thus led to the beginning development of Mothers in White. White was